What we had seen in the last lecture, can anybody explain? Can anybody tell? Yes, students.
Nature of managerial economic
Okay.
and
Then
microeconomics.
microeconomics. I think we studied microeconomics. What is the name of our subject?
Economic analysis for business decision.
Yes, economic analysis of business decisions. Okay, name itself suggests what we have to do or what we have to learn in this subject. Okay. So in the last lecture, we have studied about what is meant by economics, what is meant by managerial economics. Then we have seen some of the definitions of managerial economics. Then we have studied about the introduction of managerial economics, what is its scope, then how this is important for manager, how this is important for the business, how this is important for any kind of organization. This we had seen in the last lecture. Then we had seen about the nature of managerial economics, importance of this managerial economics, and what type of economics, what type of principles, and what we are going to study in that we had seen in the last lecture. Again, this managerial economics in the business point of view, in the previous lecture also I had explained that. So accounting, costing, taxation, finance, these all are the sub part of economics. ये सब क्या है? क्लासिफिकेशन या सेगमेंट्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स. इकोनॉमिक्स इज द वेरी लार्ज सब्जेक्ट. ठीक है. So for your syllabus or for your curriculum, only microeconomics and macroeconomics has been involved. Okay. Now in this economics, we have to study microeconomics and macroeconomics. So microeconomics means it is limited, means application of economic principles, tools and techniques, methodologies to only consumer or to only specific firm. That is something about microeconomics. Means what? You're going to study individual firm. You are going to study the pattern of purchasing, pattern of production, pattern of sales, pattern of pricing strategy, pattern of demand and supply of specific firm. Means what? If I am an employee of Tata Motors, that time I would study only Tata Motors financial status, Tata Motors production capacity, Tata Motors in inventory carrying cost, inventory status, Tata Motors employee status, then Tata Motors sales status, demand status. So we are going to study one firm or one individual. Economic analysis of business. Economic analysis of business, that is nothing but your microeconomics. Getting this? So apart means what? In microeconomics, you are just focusing on operational activities or day-to-day activities of one firm. You are going to study the pattern of financing, pattern of investment, pattern of production, pattern of sales, pattern of demand of one firm or one customer or one consumer. That is something about microeconomics. Okay. So economics is basically classified into two types. One is microeconomics and second is the macroeconomics. First, I think in the last lecture we had seen about the microeconomics. So in microeconomics, let us have a look about the microeconomics first, and then we will go for macroeconomics. So in case of microeconomics, we are going to study the specific behavior of individual firm, specific pattern or specific operations of individual firm or individual person. If you are doing this if you are doing this analysis person wise, firm wise, organization wise, that time it comes under microeconomics. There may be a question or short note on microeconomics. There may be question like distinguish between microeconomics or macroeconomics, write a short note on microeconomics. The question will be of that type. So here what we have to study. So as a manager of an organization, as an employee of organization, I need to know thoroughly my organization. My organization is the part of microeconomics. So what type of study I need to do under microeconomics? I need to know capital requirement of my firm. I need to know what type of fixed asset I should have to purchase to make the manufacturing activity. Then I need to know what type of inventory or what type of raw material is required to make the manufacturing. Again, as a businessman or as an employee of my organization, I need to know what kind of people I should have to recruit, what should be its salary structure, in how many shift I can run my production activities, getting this. Then what kind of technology I can adapt to run the business, as well as who are my target people or who are my target customer, for which category of people, for which class of people I am making this product, getting this. So accordingly, again I need to understand if this type of activities are involved into these manufacturing activities, that time what is the cost of my production I should have to calculate. And while calculating the cost of production, what type of activity you are adding, getting this. So cost of material, then cost, direct labor, direct material, direct wages, factory cost, then inventory carrying cost, freights, getting this. So what type of things we should add while calculating the cost of production? Then by on the basis of your investment into that particular plant, how much margin or how much profit you are going to expect, accordingly you will decide the selling price of your product. Then at the time of deciding the selling price of my product, you can compare the price, actual price of that product into the market, or you can go for no, you can go to check the competitors price. So on the basis of that, you are going to decide the final price. Means what? In microeconomics, I am just focusing on my organization. I'm just focusing on my firm. Getting this? If any employer or any businessman is doing that kind of study, it comes under microeconomics. Getting? Then Behavioral economics has its roots into microeconomics and deals with the micro individual enterprises. So in managerial economics, being an employee of my organization, being a businessman, I need to focus on operational efficiency or operating activities of my organization. So I should know these activities thoroughly so that it will be helpful to me to take decision right. Getting this? If I don't have enough information regarding to production capacity, regarding to technology, regarding to supply of raw material, so without having enough information, I can't take immediate decision. Getting this? So that to take a proper decision, to adapt the economic principles, to adapt the economic tools and techniques, first of all, I need to know that where to utilize these economic tools and techniques and how to utilize this. Getting this? To use or to implement economic tools and technique, I should know certain inputs. I should know certain variables which I have to take from my organization, which I have to take from sales report, production report, then inventory report, purchase department, then your accounting department, so that I should know each and everything. Then and then I can I can take proper decision. Okay. Then here on the basis of this, I can apply pricing strategies. I can decide my pricing strategies. I can decide the demand estimation, and accordingly I can estimate the market structure. Getting this? So that is something about microeconomics. I think in the last lecture also we had seen, so microeconomics guides us what to produce, क्या बनाना है, कितनी क्वांटिटी में बनाना है, then to produce this product what type of resources are required, what type of technologies are required, that is also part of microeconomics. Then what should be the final price of my product, that I have to decide. To decide the final price of my product, I need to know the cost, that is the direct and indirect cost which I have made on the certain product. Getting this? So on the basis of this direct and indirect cost, you can calculate a total cost, and in that total cost you will add your margin and you will decide the selling price of the product. Okay, so that is the deciding the price, deciding the technology, deciding the number level of activity, that is the number of units to be produced, and deciding which product I should produce, that comes under microeconomics. Then how deciding the sales promotion activities. Sales promotion activities means what? Are we going to sell my product through the direct marketing or through some of the channels? That I have to decide. It is the part of microeconomics. Then I have to decide my price as a price, competitive price. Price my price, there should be no that much differences between my price and my competitors price of the same product. Getting this? If there are the little bit variations, if my price is, my product price is more than my competitors price, then what will happen? Now customer is the king of market, so customer will attract towards my customer, towards my competitor, and I will lose my business. It should not happen. Okay, that's why you need to know final price of your product, cost of your product, and you can adjust your price. You can apply some of the discounts, you can apply some of the sales, you can make some of the sales promotion expenses to get the income. Okay, if you are getting from the particular product, that time as a manager, as a businessman, you have to find out the another opportunities for the new investment. Getting this? So this is taking the decision of expansion, taking the decision of investment, taking the decision of further expansion of your plant capacity, that again part of microeconomics. As well as how you are going to balance your profit and loss. So where you are, how you are distributing your profit in the form of dividend, and how much proportion of your profit you are keeping as a reserve and surplus for future expansion. How you are going to convince to your stakeholders, that is also part of microeconomics. And how you are managing your inventory. Means what? There should be a regular flow of inventory or raw material required for manufacturing activity. Getting this? It again depends upon nature of your industry. You may have regular flow of production. For example, means what? Your production operating, your production activities are throughout the year, or it you are going to engage only seasonal products. So accordingly, you have to plan about your inventories. Okay, so doing this kind of all the decisions, these are the part of microeconomics. Okay, so that was something about microeconomics, because this is one of the important concept from first unit. If you have any kind of doubt related to microeconomics, you can ask me now, otherwise we will go ahead. Yes, if you have any doubt, I'll give you 1 minute time. If you have any doubt related to understanding of microeconomics, you can ask me, otherwise we will go ahead. Yes. If you have any doubt, you can ask, otherwise we will go ahead. Tell me or reply me. Okay, I think No doubt, no? Okay, let us go for macroeconomics. So macroeconomics is just opposite of microeconomics. Okay. Now in microeconomics, we have studied individual business firm or individual person. I have studied individual person or I have studied individual business unit. Let us say Tata Motors, Bajaj Auto, Mahindra, yes, State Bank, Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra, etc. If you are going to study individual firm, that is the type of microeconomics. Now let us go for macroeconomics. Now macroeconomics is just opposite of microeconomics. So in macroeconomics, we have to study the external factors which are not under my control. माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में क्या देखा हम लोगों ने, जो फैक्टर जो चीजें मेरे कंट्रोल में है और जिसका डिसीजन लेना मेरा काम है, दैट वाज समथिंग अबाउट माइक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स. नाउ while running the business or while working into business organization and to survive my business into this competitive world, again I need to understand, I need to study external parameters or external factors which are not under my control. Getting this means what? Due to the heavy spread of COVID pandemic, some of the businesses has stopped their production capacity. Some of the businesses, they have reduced their production capacity. Getting this means what? By studying the environment, by studying the external factors which are going to affect on my business, accordingly, I need to take my decision whether to continue or whether to stop. Study of some of the external factors, political factors, then economic factors, financial factors, then industrial policies, trade unions disputes, then your employment strategies. So by studying this, I have to take a proper decision related to my firm. Study of this kind of parameters, that is something about macroeconomics. Okay. Now, see, being a businessman, we have to utilize the resources of the country or resources of the nation. So some of the resources are natural resources, some of the resources are artificial resources. Getting this? So being a resources are limited in nature. Resources are limited in nature. So while utilizing this kind of resources, you have to take care that resources should not be idle with organization. And whatever resources we are using, okay, so these resources are going to diminish, or these resources are going to be end. Okay, now before ending of the resources, I should have to utilize these resources with 100% capacity, or we have to make the full utilization of the resource. Getting this? Now the in macroeconomics, there are so many factors which affect on my business. For example, one is the recession, is one of the parameter. Then industrial policies made by the government. Then political parties in power, that is also legal environment of the countries, political environment of the countries. Then for example, pollution control, some of the authorities, they would have some of the licenses and some of the regulations that also we have to follow. Getting this, as well as you have to utilize the land, you have to utilize the electricity, you have to utilize the water, you have to utilize for example, any nature, any kind of, for example, tax policies will be there. So these are the various kinds of activities due to which my business can suffer, through which my business can suffer. So that due to entry of such kind of resources, due to entry of pandemic, my business should not suffer, or I have to take appropriate decision. So So why to study these kind of parameters? Because these are the parameters due to which progress of my business. Now here, am I audible now? Amy,
No, sir.
am I audible now?
No,
Your
sir.
voice is breaking.
No.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. So we were
sir.
studying, yes, we were studying about the macroeconomics. So as a businessman, as a employee of organization, I need to study the external factor. External factor means what? These are the limitations. These are the factors which creates the obstacles or limitations on my business, जिसके वजह से मेरे बिजनेस के ऊपर असर होने वाला है. Getting this? Due to it may be recession, it may be industrial policies, it may be, for example, legal environment of your country, it may be licensing policy of your country, it may be, for example, trade unions, it may be related to some of the permissions, environmental policies, environmental permissions. So these are the various types of external factors due to which my business can hamper. So by understanding, if I don't have any updates about the pandemic and I have started my production activity, what is going to happen? If there is the lockdown period, if there is the lockdown in the market, that time there will be no demand to my product. In that case, what I have to do? I have to stop immediately my production capacity, because you are going to be investing your capital in the finished goods, and finished goods are not allowed to sell into the market. So at that time, what you have to do? You have to manage your resources, you have to reduce your production capacity, or you have to stop your production capacity. Getting this? So by understanding, by analyzing external environment, I have to take the decision of my firm operate. It may be operating efficiency, operating capacity of my firm. So that as a manager, as a businessman, I need to study macroeconomic parameters or macroeconomic factors. Okay. Now, it is considered with the level of employment in economy. If you are going to study the employment level, payment, so that is also part of macroeconomics. So it discuss aggregate consumption of the country, aggregate investment of the country, price level fluctuations, and payment and theories of employment. So you are studying these parameters across. You are not studying only consumption pattern, investment pattern, price level pattern, then payment pattern of your own country or own organization. You are studying across the country, across the globe, across the state, across the district. If this is your study, that time it comes under macroeconomics. Okay. So what macroeconomics does? My macroeconomics provides the necessary framework in terms of government policies for the firm to act upon dealing with analysis of business condition. अगर ये policy है, so accordingly, in case there are some of the lockdown or there are some of the recessions, so at that time you need to manage your resources, you need to manage your operating efficiencies. In case there is the huge demand due to the pandemic, at that time somehow you have to increase your production capacity as well, but employees are not ready to come into your organization. How you can do your sale? How you can make the manufacturing activity? Getting this? Let us consider one criteria, one condition, कि pandemic चालू है और मेरा जो प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है, फॉर एग्जांपल आई एम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मास्क और आई एम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, क्या बोलते हैं उसको,
Sanitizer.
yes, sanitizer. मेरा सैनिटाइजर का कंपनी है या मेरा मास्क का कंपनी है। पिछले जब तक पैंडेमिक नहीं था दैट टाइम सैनिटाइजर को मेरे कुछ वैल्यू ही नहीं थी, गेटिंग दिस। बट ड्यू टू एंट्री ऑफ दिस पैंडेमिक नाउ देयर इज द ह्यूज डिमांड टू माय टू दैट सैनिटाइजर, गेटिंग दिस। एज नॉर्मल बिफोर दिस पैंडेमिक मेरा नॉर्मल कैपेसिटी से चलता था, यानी 100 बॉटल्स आई वाज प्रोड्यूसिंग इन अ डे, गेटिंग दिस। एंड इमीडिएटली मार्केट से ज्यादा डिमांड आ गया, तो 100 का बॉटल अभी 200 रुपए को डिमांड आ गई। बट सो एज पर दिस मार्केट डिमांड आई नीड टू reframe my production capacity, getting this. So accordingly I need to manage my resources na. So managing the resources means what? You have to manage your capital, you have to manage your machineries, you have to manage your production capacities, you have to manage your employees, you have to manage your technology, you have to manage your distribution channels as well, getting this. And if you fail to manage this, then you will not take the benefit of this, getting this. You cannot earn more money. So what is actually happening into the market, what is actually going into the market, what are the trends in the market? As a manager, as a businessman, you have to study, and accordingly you need to take the appropriate decision of your business. You need to take the appropriate decision of your of your firm. That is something about macroeconomics. Okay. Now next is the macroeconomics में क्या क्या आता है? So it is the applied to the business environment. Macroeconomics is the applied to the business environment. Means what? Environment is the external factor which is not under my control. Getting this? By studying that environment, I have to adjust myself. Getting this? I can't manage the economy. Okay, I am one small part of that economy, so I can't
Sir, your voice is break.
manage. I have told. Okay, now okay, now are you getting my voice?
Sir, sometimes it's breaking. Sometimes
Yes,
it's
sir.
There is the
Yes.
network issue is there.
Now it's clear, sir.
I have switched to the next another mobile as well, but it's happening again. Okay. Uh, in case if you are not getting my voice, please tell me. Now, in macroeconomics, what as a manager, what I have to study, what is happening in the outside world, that is something about macroeconomics. Why need to study the outside market? Because accordingly I can find the opportunities, accordingly I can control my loss as well. If there is the some obstacles, if there is the something, if there is the market slack in India, you can access market of US, you can access market of China, you can access the market of Germany as well, getting this. Because you should know what is happening into our society. Accordingly you can find other market, you can capture the other market. That's why you need to study the macroeconomic parameters and factors. So looking towards or understanding the current business scenario, you can estimate future of your business, you can expect the future growth of your business. कितना परसेंट ट्रेंड होना चाहिए, प्रॉफिट में कितना ट्रेंड होना चाहिए, प्रोडक्शन कितना से बढ़ना चाहिए, कैपिटल कितने से बढ़ना चाहिए. You can analyze, you can estimate this kind of demand and supply by understanding the external parameters. Okay, now these parameters are external parameters or environmental issues are regarding to your economic factors, social factors, as well as political factors of the country. So as a businessman, you need to study these external parameters or macroeconomic parameters. Okay, here in case of economic environment of country, you need to understand whether your economy is capitalistic economy, socialistic economy, or mixed economic system, because it affect on the progress of your business. So capitalistic economy means what? Here entire investment means what? Business will be entirely controlled by the government, जैसे कि यूएस का गवर्नमेंट। तो सारे जितने भी बिजनेस है से बिजनेस का कैपिटल कौन देता है? गवर्नमेंट देता है। दैट इज समथिंग अबाउट कैपिटलिस्टिक economy. Means what? It is not allowed to for private businessman to make 100% investment. जैसे कि हमारा कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी में क्या आता है? फॉर एग्जांपल नेशनलाइज बैंक, जिसमें किसका पैसा है? लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल ऑफ some of the businesses of our country. So all nationalized banks where capital is provided by our country. Then Indian Railways, then Mahavitaran. Getting this? So these are the capitalistic businesses where large amount of capital is provided by the central government. That is something about कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी। अगर कोई भी इकोनॉमी में मैक्सिमम पैसा अगर कंट्री का रहेगा, गवर्नमेंट का रहेगा, तो उस इकोनॉमी को बोलते हैं कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी। सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी यानी क्या है?
China is a capitalistic economy.
यस, सॉरी,
China is a capitalistic economy, correct?
no, China follows the socialistic economy.
Okay.
Okay,
Because
so there are small businesses. Means what? In case of socialistic economy, you are free to make 100% investment. जैसे कि there are no any kind of rules and regulations. Government is not making intervention in the businesses of such kind of economy. So that is called as a socialistic economy.
so last year China arrested one CEO of Alibaba. I
Okay.
forget the name of that person because he's holding lots of share of that company, and his company is rapidly growing all over the world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's why China government arrest that CEO. Alibaba's company name is Alibaba, I think.
Yes, see here, in case of business, if 100% capital is provided by one person, and it is happening, that time it is called as a socialistic economy, where government is not putting the amount, government is not putting the capital. जैसे कि मैंने एग्जांपल दिया है कि फॉर एग्जांपल इन केस ऑफ नेशनलाइज बैंक्स इन इंडिया या इंडियन रेलवे, किसका पैसा है? हमारा पैसा है कि इंडियन रेलवे में? नहीं है ना। किसने पैसा डाला है? किसने इन्वेस्टमेंट की है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का फंड है। अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के जिस प्रोजेक्ट में पैसे होते हैं, तो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी। मींस व्हाट? कैपिटल इज प्रोवाइडेड बाय कंट्री, कैपिटल इज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी। सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी में क्या है? गवर्नमेंट अलाउ टू द प्राइवेट बिजनेसमैन to run the businesses. Means government's rules and regulations are very low, but government will have some of the control. लेकिन गवर्नमेंट का पैसा जितना उतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा, तो उसको बोलते हैं सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी, जैसे कि चाइना का इकोनॉमी। सो यू कैन जस्ट इमेजिन, यू कैन जस्ट गूगल इट कि चाइना में इतने बिजनेसेस है और कोई भी बंदा कोई भी बिजनेस कर सकता है। ही कैन मैनेज हिज ओन कैपिटल। देर आर नो एनी काइंड ऑफ गवर्नमेंट्स इंटरवेंशंस और गवर्नमेंट्स रेस्ट्रिक्शंस टू डू द बिजनेस। यानी एक बिजनेस में पूरा ही पैसा खुद का भी हो सकता है, सारे प्राइवेट बिजनेस भी हो सकते हैं। लिमिटेड कंपनी एस्टेब्लिश करने की जरूरी नहीं है चाइना में। समझ में आ रहा है? दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी।
Yes,
Means
sir.
what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. और as India, we are following mixed economic system. Mixed economic system यानी क्या है? In our India, we have capitalistic businesses as well as socialistic businesses. समझ में आ रहा है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैपिटलिस्टिक बिजनेस यानी मैंने अभी एग्जाम्पल दिया, ऑल नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक्स, देन इंडियन रेलवे, कुछ एग्जाम्पल मैं दे दूंगा। उसके बाद हमारे पास ओएनजीसी है, पता है, इंडियन ऑयल कंपनीज। किसका इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा है? ये गवर्नमेंट का इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा है। गवर्नमेंट इज प्रोवाइडिंग मेजॉरिटी ऑफ कैपिटल इन केस ऑफ सच बिजनेसेस। समझ में आ रहा है? मीन्स व्हाट? वी हैव नॉट डन दैट मच ऑफ प्राइवेटाइजेशन, जितना कि चाइना में प्राइवेटाइजेशन ज्यादा है इंडिया से भी, बिकॉज चाइना इज फॉलोइंग सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी। हमारे इंडिया में क्या है? we have control some of the major businesses. जैसे कि इंडियन रेलवे में प्राइवेटाइजेशन नहीं हुआ है, महावितरण इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का प्राइवेटाइजेशन नहीं हुआ है, समझ में आ रहा है। देन गैस पेट्रोलियम का प्राइवेटाइजेशन हम लोगों ने नहीं किया है, समझ में आ रहा है। मीन्स व्हाट 100% और टू सर्टेन एक्सटेंट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ कैपिटल इज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द कंट्रीज गवर्नमेंट, समझ में आ रहा है। Along with this, we have certain private brands like Tata, Ambani, Bajaj, Mahindra, HDFC. Getting this? So our Indian economy is mixed economy where we are following capitalistic. Our economy is capitalistic in nature as well as socialistic in nature. So if you want to do the business in China, at that time I have to study economy of that country, na. Getting this? If I want to do my businesses, if I want to sell my product into UK or US, that time I need to know the economy of that country. So studying the economy of other countries is part of macroeconomics, because you are going to do the business into that country. समझ में आ रहे? सो इसको बोलते हैं कैपिटलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी, सोशलिस्टिक इकोनॉमी एंड मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमिक सिस्टम. We are in mixed economic system. To certain extent, we are capitalistic, or to certain products, I can say, to certain products we are in capitalistic economy, and to certain products we are in socialistic economy. Okay, so in macroeconomics, what again you have to study? You have to study the foreign trades, then volume of then trends in the working of financial institutions. Financial institutions means banks and some of the financial institutions from whom I am going to get the capital or business loan. What is the rate of interest for what is the type of investment? Then what type of rate of returns they are going to recover? Then it's about regarding to the interest rate. Then it may be short term investment, long term investment, what kind of formalities I should have to do, what is the status of foreign direct investment, what is the status of role of capital market of that country, that also you have to study in this macroeconomics. Then I have to study fiscal policies, monetary policies, export import policies, industrial policies and pricing policy of that country. कौन से country का करना है मुझे? कि जो कंट्री में मैं मेरा एक बिजनेस एक्सपांड करना चाहता हूँ, जो कंट्री में मेरा बिजनेस एग्जिस्टिंग है, उसी कंट्री का मुझे स्टडी करना चाहिए, बिकॉज एनीथिंग हैपेंस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू फाइनेंशियल पॉलिसी, मॉनिटरिंग पॉलिसी, एक्सपोर्ट इंपोर्ट पॉलिसी, ट्रेड पॉलिसीज, इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी, इट विल अफेक्ट ऑन माय बिजनेस. उसके हिसाब से मेरा बिजनेस का प्रोग्रेस अप्स एंड डाउन होने वाला है, इसलिए मुझे इसका स्टडी करना जरूरी है. And that comes under macroeconomics. Then political environment, the political environment of that country. Then state's attitude towards the private sector, towards the business. Means how your government, state government and central government is supporting to the industry. Make in India, make in India, or we are going to help out to the businessman to go ahead to make the, we are going to give some of the क्या बोलते हैं उसको, subsidies भी देते हैं. We will also provide some of the resources with subsidized rate. यानी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी MIDC एरिया में प्लॉट लेना है ना, उसमें सिर्फ 5 लाख में आएगा. गेटिंग दिस? MIDC एरिया में अगर आपका प्लांट है तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी यू विल गेट एट सब्सिडाइज्ड रेट, 4 रुपए पर मीटर, 5 रुपए पर मीटर. गेटिंग दिस? So we are going to provide this kind of facilities to the businessmen to grow them. Getting this? So we have to understand this kind of things, and accordingly you have to enter into the business. Okay.
Sir,
yes.
Government also established the SEZ zone.
Yes, yes, special economic zone. जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल आईटी पार्क होते हैं पर्टिकुलर एरिया में, अगर हम लोग बिजनेस करने के लिए जाएंगे तो इन दैट केस फॉर एग्जांपल टैक्स विल बी एग्जम्प्टेड, सम ऑफ द टैक्स विल बी एग्जम्प्टेड, और some of the facilities will be provided into special economic zone. Special economic zone यानी government will set up that kind of industry into certain specified or some of the remote places, some of the places जैसे कि हिंजवड़ी area, you can take the example of हिंजवड़ी area.
Yes, sir.
Few years back there was nothing opposite of that highway, express highway भी नहीं था. 20 पहले 2000 year 2000 में वहां पे होटल भी नहीं था. 2000 साल में वहां पे एक होटल भी नहीं दिखता था. Getting this? Now you can imagine what kind of facilities are there near to that express highway. Those facilities which are not there in Pune city, all kind of world class facilities are there into this Hinjawadi and Man area. Getting this? So as a businessman, you have to understand these kind of things, and accordingly you can enter into such kind of businesses as well. Getting this? So in macroeconomics, you have to study these things. So do you have any doubt regarding to this macroeconomics? Can you able to write short note, or can you able to give the answer of macroeconomics? If you are okay, then we will go ahead.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so as of now we have studied microeconomics and macroeconomics. We have spent lot of time because it is one of the important thing, macroeconomics and macroeconomics. I mean, next is the features of managerial economics. Managerial economics actually hai kya? What are the characteristics of managerial economics? First, it is close to microeconomics. क्या है? So managerial economics is majorly focusing on finding out the solution of your business. Getting this? मुझे दूसरों का बिजनेस के चैलेंजेस, दूसरे के बिजनेस सॉल्व करने के लिए मैं मेरा बिजनेस नहीं कर रहा. मेरा बिजनेस करते समय जो कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आ जाएंगे वो सॉल्व करने के लिए मुझे मैनेजरियल इकोनॉमिक्स हेल्प करेगा. समझ में आ रहा है? So by understanding the concepts, by understanding the theories of managerial economics, I will capable to solve problem of my business. मुझे मेरे बिजनेस का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना है, मुझे मेरा बिजनेस ग्रो करना है. Getting this? So here in managerial economics, focus is more on microeconomics. Microeconomics means nothing. It is nothing but operational efficiency or day-to-day activities of your business. So you should have to concentrate on your business. Getting this? Second, it operates against the backdrop of macroeconomics. So here, as a businessman, you need to understand what are the limiting factors, what are the external factors due to which my business is going to impact. My business is going to be affected. So accordingly, I should have a knowledge of these environmental factors which will reduce, which will stop my progress. So if any kind of such things happens in the society, happens in the market, accordingly, I can mold my business factor. Then it also helps to the normative statement. Normative statement means what? It deals with the statements such as government of India should open up the economy. Normative statement means what I should do. What I should do means what? It is something about managerial economics will also suggest us course of action. मैंने क्या करना चाहिए? कोविड आया, मैंने क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? That is something about normative statement. जो हुआ है उसके ऊपर नहीं डिस्कशन करना है. What kind of steps I have to take? That is something about normative statement. So managerial economics help us to prepare normative statement, that is course of action, future course of action. That is something about normative statement. What is good for me and what is bad for me, and what steps I should have to adopt. That is something about normative statements, and managerial economics help us to decide the normative statement. Then managerial economics also help us to decide the future course of action. from available resources. मेरे पास में जो कुछ है, accordingly I need to take the decision. जो मेरे हाथ में है, जो मेरे कंट्रोल में है, उसके एनालिसिस से मुझे बेस्ट ऑफ पॉसिबल सॉल्यूशन बनाना है. एंड मैनेजरल इकोनॉमिक्स विल हेल्प अस मी टू decide or to find out the optimal solution of your problem. Your problem may be related to employee, your problem may be related to inventory, your problem may be related to capital, your problem may be related to sales promotion activities. Okay, so you have to find best possible alternatives. Getting this? So managerial economics also help us to take the preventive action. Then managerial economics is applied in nature. Applied in nature means what? You can, to solve my problem, you can apply the demand and supply. For example, demand and supply theory. What is the relationship between demand and supply? How to increase my demand? What I have to do? So that whatever are the models which are there in economics, you can use this theoretical knowledge on your business. You can make the experiment of these models into your business, and you can take the appropriate decision. So managerial economics also help us to solve the problems related to inventory. It will also help us to utilize your resources in optimum manner, as well as you can manage your project in efficient manner. So to do this kind of activities, managerial economics is help us. Then managerial economics also help us to evaluate each and every alternatives. Evaluation यानी which is the best, you have to decide by comparing its cost and by comparing its returns. So the or alternative, the option which is best for my organization, I should have to implement that alternatives. Okay, so to evaluate the various alternatives, to scan the various alternatives, to check the performance of each and every alternatives, you can use the tools and techniques of economics. Okay, as well as it is managerial economics is the interdisciplinary. So while taking the decision, to certain extent you have to take the help of statistics, you have to take the help of mathematics, you have to take the help of economy, you have to take the help of psychology of human beings, psychology of manager, psychology of customers, psychology of my supplier about my organization, psychology of laborers. I need to understand, and accordingly I can. Then organizational behavior also you have to study. So economics, while studying the economics, you should not ignore mathematics, it should not ignore the psychology, you should not ignore this organizational behavior. So these are the various kinds of discipline which also you have to take here while studying the managerial economics. Okay, so I think next is the scope of managerial economics. तो मैनेजरल इकोनॉमिक्स कवर्स टू टाइप्स ऑफ डिसीजन मेकिंग. एक तो मुझे इंटरनल इश्यू के ऊपर डिसीजन लेना है या एक्सटर्नल इश्यू के ऊपर डिसीजन लेना है. So internal issue means what? These are the operational issues of your organization, day-to-day activities of your organization. So due to which your production system can hamper, due to which your profit of your organization can decline, due to which my sales and my demand can vary. So that is something about operational issues. So managerial economics is helpful to solve the operational issues. Operational issues means what? Where there is the control of management. Means what? These are the issues which are under my control. वो कि जो चीजें मेरे हाथ में है, जो प्रॉब्लम्स मेरे कैपेसिटी में है, उसको बोलते हैं मैनेज ऑपरेशनल इश्यूज. फॉर एग्जांपल, theories of demand and demand forecasting. डिमांड डिसीजन करना, डिमांड डिसाइड करना, डिमांड एस्टिमेशन करना और डिमांड का फोरकास्टिंग. आज अगर मेरे कस्टमर को, मेरे सैनिटाइजर को आज अगर मेरे 100 बॉटल जाता है पर डे, तो can you estimate the demand for next 5 years? Can you estimate the 5 months, 5 days, 5 weeks? So you can estimate your demand. So next is the pricing and competitive strategy. You have to decide the price of your product. So while deciding the price of your product, you can also make the competitors pricing analysis. कॉम्पिटिटर्स का मेरे प्राइस का, मेरे बॉटल का कीमत, मेरा एक बॉटल कितने ml का है, उसमें कितना क्वांटिटी है और उसका प्राइस कितना है। गेटिंग दिस? मेरा सेम कॉम्पिटिटर का बॉटल का प्राइस कितना है और कितना ml है, आई कैन स्टडी एंड अकॉर्डिंगली आई कैन डिसाइड द प्राइस ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट. Then production cost analysis. Production cost analysis means what? It is nothing but कितना खर्चा किया, what is cost of manufacturing, what is the cost of labor, cost of material, cost of factory cost कितना है, उसके बाद material की costing कितना है, advertisement cost कितनी है, inspection cost कितनी है, and what is your expected rate of return. So accordingly you can decide the selling price of your product. Then resource allocation. Resource allocation means what? Whatever resources you are utilizing, it should be utilized with 100% capacity. If resources are idle in the organization, it increases your liability. As a manager, your resources should not be idle in the organizations. There should be no over capitalization as well as there should be no under capitalization. Resources should not be underutilized and resources should not be overutilized. Overutilization यानी एक मशीनरी का कैपेसिटी है 10 बॉटल प्रोड्यूस करना, अगर उसी मशीनरी के ऊपर मैं 50 बॉटल प्रोड्यूस करूंगा तो आई शुड नॉट गेट द क्वालिटी. समझ में आ रहा है? सो यू शुड नॉट मेक ओवर यूटिलाइजेशन ऑफ योर रिसोर्सेस. अगर एक मशीनरी का कैपेसिटी 10 बॉटल का है, अगर मैं वहां उसी मशीनरी पे 10 की जगह पे 5 बॉटल्स प्रोड्यूस करूंगा, इसका मतलब 50% कैपेसिटी इज आइडल. If the capacity is idle, it increases your loss or it increases your liability. So resources allocation is one of the criteria, one of the activity. So you have to use some of the tools and techniques, and you can use your plant, your labor resources, your machineries with 100% capacity. Okay. Then you have to analyze the profit analysis. यानी कितना profit चाहिए आपको, कितना % profit में hike चाहिए. That also you have to decide through managerial economics. Then investment analysis, कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, उसके ऊपर कितना रिटर्न्स मिल रहा है, 10%, 5%, 20% और कितना आप एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं. That also you can decide through managerial economics. And strategic planning. It is the strategic planning means what? You have to make the planning of your business related to expansion, related to wind up, related to varieties in the products. Okay, related to various inventories. So these are the operational issues. So managerial economics help us to resolve such kind of operational issue. So operational issues we have seen related to demand forecasting, related to decide the pricing strategies, related to production cost, related to resource allocation strategies. It may be related to profit analysis, it may be related to investment analysis, and it may be related to deciding the future plan. So these are the operational areas where managerial economics will help you. Okay, I think our time is over, so let us stop here. Okay, so I think tomorrow we don't have a lecture. Okay, due to Makar Sankranti.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
just
next
got a mail.
lecture. Yes, I also got communication from your director that tomorrow we don't have a session. I think in the next week we will have a session and it will be communicated to you. Okay, thank you so much and happy Makar Sankranti to you all.
Same to you, sir. Happy Makar Sankrant.
Yes.
Happy